Today, we're going to dig into a hidden story, one that's tucked behind one of the most famous figures in history. It's a wild tale about a family curse, a tribe that was almost forgotten, and a redemption that was literally thousands of years in the making. So we all know the Apostle Peter, right? The fisherman, the disciple, the rock of the early church. But what if I told you his story didn't start on the shores of the Sea of Galilee? What if his journey was actually the final chapter of a family drama that started 2,000 years before he was ever born? To get this, we have to go way back. We're talking about the book of Genesis. The patriarch Jacob is on his deathbed, and he's gathered all his sons around him. And he's not just handing out blessings. For some of them, he's about to deliver a powerful curse. Now, two of his sons, Simeon and Levi, had done something terrible. They'd committed this absolutely brutal act of vengeance that put their entire family in danger. This wasn't just a small mistake. This was a big deal, and their father was furious. So when it was their turn, Jacob looks at Simeon and Levi, and instead of a blessing, he lays this curse on them. He basically says their descendants are going to be divided, they're going to be scattered, they're going to be broken. Their identity as a strong, unified tribe shattered. And that one single moment, that one curse, sent these two brothers and their entire family lines down two completely different roads for centuries. On one hand, you've got the tribe of Levi. Now, their story eventually turns around. They become the priests for Israel. Their line gives us Moses and Aaron, huge leaders of the Old Testament church. But Simeon? Oh, it was a totally different story. His tribe just dwindled, got absorbed by other tribes, and basically just faded away. And get this. This is how deep the cut was. Centuries later, when Moses, a descendant of Levi, is giving his own final blessings to the tribes of Israel, he blesses every single one of them, except one. He completely leaves Simeon out. It's like a confirmation that this curse was still very, very real. And this wasn't just a short-term problem, a bad couple of decades. The shadow of this curse hung over the tribe of Simeon for millennia, creating this long, long history of instability and just being forgotten. This timeline really puts it all into perspective. It starts with Jacob around 1700 BCE. 300 years later, Moses pretty much reinforces it, and then just silence. For almost another 1,500 years, until one day, on the Sea of Galilee, everything changes. That's right. For nearly 2,000 years, the tribe of Simeon lived under the weight of their ancestors' mistake, a legacy of being scattered, of being broken. But this is where the story gets good. This is the turning point. We have this ordinary fisherman, probably just trying to get by, who has an encounter that's not just going to change his life, but the destiny of his entire family line. So Jesus walks up and calls out to this guy named Simon. And this isn't just some random fisherman. He's a descendant of that forgotten tribe of Simeon. And according to the speaker Daniel Lamptey, you can even see that ancestral instability in him. He's impulsive, he's up and down, he's kind of all over the place. And here's the key, the name itself. Simon is just the Greek version of the Hebrew name Simeon. So he is literally, by name and by blood, a direct link all the way back to that curse. He embodies that legacy of being scattered. But Jesus doesn't just leave him there as Simon. He does something radical. He gives him a new name, Peter. And Peter means the rock. It's a name that stands for the exact opposite of his entire heritage. It means stability, strength, foundation. As Daniel Lamptey explains it, this was an incredibly deliberate act. Jesus was basically looking at him and saying, I see that instability. I see the generational pattern. Your name is Simon, but that's not who you're going to be. I'm making you Peter. I'm making you a rock. And in that one moment, a 2,000-year-old curse begins to be nullified, and a brand new legacy is born. So let's just trace that arc. First, you have Jacob's curse that scatters the tribe. Then you have this unbelievably long wait, almost 2 millennia of obscurity. Then, boom, Jesus steps in, calls a descendant, and literally renames him the rock, turning instability into a foundation. And from there, Peter becomes a leader in the New Testament church. And this brings the whole story of those two cursed brothers full circle. It's beautiful, really. God raised up Moses from the line of Levi to lead the Old Covenant church, and now he raises up Peter from the forgotten line of Simeon to be a foundational leader for the new one. Both cursed bloodlines, ultimately redeemed and given these incredible roles of leadership. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, Daniel Lamptey's interpretation really drives it home. This whole story shows us that even ancient generational patterns can be broken. Your history, no matter how difficult, doesn't get the final say on your future. Transformation is always, always possible. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? If a curse that lasted 2,000 years can be transformed into a cornerstone for a new beginning, what patterns in our own families, in our own stories, or even in our own lives are just waiting for their turning point?